is up, everybody? Happy Sunday evening to you. I hope that you enjoyed your day. Um, I had time for a quick live stream earlier talking about Caitlin Clark and her departure or her decision to play overseas. A lot of people are saying it was because of the money and that, it was a better opportunity for her to make more money. And I believe it could be a combination of two things, right? We'll see how she fares in the WNBA next season if she decides to play. I don't know if she's under contract or what, so we'll see. But I keep seeing these little uh, posts about there was a third assassination attempt on Trump. I told you guys this was like Rome 2.0, this political cycle. It's just crazy. Lots of crazy stuff going on in the United States. So I'm like, usually when I hear stuff from people posting stuff, you never know if it's true. So what I do is I kind of go and look and see what all the credible news outlets, or not creditable, but at least the usual suspect news outlets, what they are saying about this. So you got, I don't even know what Press Enterprise is. They posted an hour ago. New York Post 46 minutes ago. Al Jazeera posted about this assassination attempt. iHeartRadio, right? The Independent, and then you got Fox, a couple of local Fox networks who are talking about this possible third assassination attempt against Donald Trump. So I want to go into the Fox reporting, and then we can kind of unpack together.
As a California sheriff is saying that a third assassination attempt against the former president was thwarted in California just this weekend. I do want to put up just this post here on Live Now from Fox and the New York Post saying a third Trump assassination attempt thwarted when an armed man arrested outside of the Coachella rally this weekend as the last minute Saturday when cops stopped a man armed with guns and fake passes outside the rally in the Coachella Valley in California this weekend. Of course,
they really don't want Trump. They really don't want Trump to even be considered as a president. It's crazy, all right, y'all. And like I've gone through these. I'm 41 years old. I'm an American. I've never seen this before. I've never, ever, ever in just my lifetime, and there could be people older than me, and I respect your opinions and your experience. So if you've seen this before, where you've had a political cycle and there have been multiple attempts on a candidate's life, let us know. Like, let us know for sure. I've never seen this before. But if there's some other cases, definitely let me know. I'm kind of, newer, to this cycle, so I've never seen it before. Three attempts on a single candidate's life, or at least in a scheme to assassinate. I mean, this is unbelievable to me. This is giving almost like unbelievable. Like, it's giving unbelievable. No president, bar none, been like I guess you're saying Trump is lucky for having these, being able to dodge these bullets. You know, what's going on, Fred? This is just unbelievable. Like, to me, that there is a third, like somebody, like it seems like to me, according to these reportings, that somebody is actively trying to kill this man before election day. And what happens if they're successful? Does that basically, knocks out the Republican candidate? What pretty much happens to the election if something like that happened? Can somebody give me a civics lesson here on if somebody were successful in, 86 and Trump from this process by means of this method that we see keep being attempted? What does that mean for the election? This dude said Civil War. He said Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, but three times. Okay. So He said, it's unheard of a president three times. Thank you, Stoic. I've never seen it before. Okay. But let's go back and let's just see how Fox is reporting
Coachella
this.
rally this weekend as the last minute Saturday when cops stopped a man armed with guns and fake passes outside the rally in the Coachella Valley in California this weekend. Of course, the suspect, who was caught with about a mile from the rally venue with a phony entry pass, according to police. He was
okay. So he had a phony entry pass. So right off the back, my investigative senses says that okay, this person would have had to know what the original entry passes look like, right? They would have had to had some kind of knowledge to be able to, you know, emulate the image of that rally's pass. So they're saying he had a fake pass. All right.
Also carrying a loaded shotgun, handgun, and high-capacity magazine. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco said, quote, "We probably stopped another assassination attempt." The suspect, identified as Vem Miller, was intercepted by police at a checkpoint about half a mile from the rally entrance. He was carrying phony passes and VIP passes. According to the Sheriff Bianco in that area, they said, quote, "They were different enough to cause the deputies alarm." Miller's believed to be a member of a...
So they're saying the deputies actually caught these dudes, like their passes were different enough that it caused these deputies. Good job. Shout out to these deputies. Y'all hit the like button and clap for these deputies. Cause they like, your passes don't look right. These deputies were on their job, right? Because look at what he said. They
attempt. The suspect, identified as Vem Miller, was intercepted by police at a checkpoint about half a mile from the rally entrance. He was carrying phony passes and VIP passes. According to the Sheriff Bianco in that area, they said, quote, "They were different enough to cause the deputies alarm." Miller's believed
they
to be a
did their
member
job.
of a right-wing anti-government organization, according to Bianco, and was plotting to kill the former president Donald Trump. Miller was booked on...
Now this is peculiar to me because they're associating these shooters with right wingers. That this guy belonged to a right wing organization. Why are the right wingers trying to take out Trump? I thought that was their god. Like I don't understand it. Why are they attributing these shooters to being part of right wing organizations? Like I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But it's kind of perplexing to me that they're saying these shooters are belonging to right wing organizations.
Magazine.
I thought this
Riverside
was
County
the god
Sheriff
of the
Chad
right
Bianco
wing.
said,
This is
quote,
perplexing
"We
to me.
probably stopped another assassination attempt." The suspect, identified as Vem Miller, was intercepted by police at a checkpoint about half a mile from the rally entrance.
So this checkpoint was half a mile. So at least they're like, we got to protect this guy, right? So at least they're doing better checkpoints to try to protect him.
He was carrying phony passes and VIP passes, according to the Sheriff Bianco.
And this is
in that
on
area.
live now
They said,
from
quote,
Fox.
"They were
So if
different
you
enough
subscribe to that
to
channel,
cause
you
the
can see this
deputies
too."
alarm." Miller is believed to be a member of a right-wing anti-government organization, according to Bianco, and was plotting to kill the former president Donald Trump. Miller was booked on possession of a loaded firearm with a high-capacity magazine. Was released after posting $5,000 bail. This, according to police records, and we're hearing.
So at least they're catching these people before they can actually get activated in these crowds. Thank God, right? At least they had a learning curve from the first assassination attempt, which was very, very close. At least they did get their learning curves. They're getting people checkpointed. But it's kind of weird because now this is the third one. So Donald Trump is not safe. Like if I was Trump, I know he want to be out here on the block like this, but it just seemed like you are a moving target, my man. Like they are trying to take you out the game. Like there is no other way to see this because Biden hasn't had anybody try to kill him. Right? Let's just keep it a buck. Like and he locked the damn country down. Right? He kept us on these, like I'm just saying. He put mandates on us. He was forcing people to take some solutions, right? There was a lot that people could be just absolutely angry at Biden about, and nobody tried to make these attempts on Biden like they're trying to make on Trump. This is crazy. This is really, really crazy. Ain't nobody trying to take nobody out the game but Trump. And what's really insane to me, and I would love for somebody to explain to me this, is why are these people coming from the extreme right wing? Like, because this doesn't even seem like Fox isn't even reporting these as Democrats, ops, or anything like that, right? These are people coming from the right wing. What, like, is this just false reporting? Are these really just Democrat ops, right? Because this is what even Fox News is saying.
A member of a right-wing anti-government.
This is Fox News saying this, which is really kind of perplexing me because I'm like, well, aren't you guys right wing? Like, aren't those your people? You're saying that your people on the right are trying to take out Trump? Like, this is not, it's not adding up for me. It's not adding. He said that's bullshit, right? Derek feels like that's bullshit. All right. I mean, people are not very happy about, how may don't be mad at me. I'm just listening to what Fox is saying, right? I'm not saying it's coming from the right wing. I'm saying they're saying that these people are coming from the right wing. This is what Fox News, who is supposed to be, to me, a shield for the right.
Miller's believed to be a member of a right-wing anti-government organization, according to Bianco, and was plotting to kill the former president Donald Trump. Miller was booked on possession of a loaded firearm with a high-capacity magazine. Was released after posting $5,000 bail. This, according to police records. And we're hearing now different reaction about this third possible Trump assassination attempt from different lawmakers, including Republican Representative.
Okay, so this is legit because now you have actual representatives coming out. I needed to see more news outlets kind of reporting on this before I felt like it was a legitimate thing to sort of, talk about with you guys. But now you got Anna Paulina Luna coming out saying that she just received word of the third assassination attempt on President Trump's life. This is a time that our nation must come together to condemn this violence. This is abhorrent and should never be tolerated in a civil society. Our prayers are with Donald Trump, right? This is American politics is not civilized, y'all. This is not civilized. Like, I mean, to me, the days of just any type of civil competition when it comes to this political space, it seems like it's gone because people are going to the extremes. Like, to me, and I gotta feel like they are so sure Kamala Harris is just gonna get swept that they're like, we don't have any other cards to play. We just need to take him out. Right? Like, to me, that the candidate on the other side is not that strong when the last resort is we just got to take him out the game. That's what it's looking like for Trump. It looks like Trump may be more of a threat to it, like the possibility of him winning might be more of a threat to these people than even we realize, right? Like, because they're going to always freak the polls. They're going to always freak the polls, right? I don't believe the polls, right? I believe real people on the streets. I never believe the polls, right? Because the streets always talk and the streets really don't ever say what the polls are saying, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you, like when Trump lost Michigan, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked that he lost Michigan. Like, I went to bed and Trump was way ahead, and then woke up and we were blue. Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. If that was a stock, somebody be like, did somebody get some bad news? Right? That was crazy. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So you guys let me know what you think. This is a crazy political cycle. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anything like this where they're just out here trying to take their opponents out the game. This is like all you see is these political witchings. It's like, and I think what it is, like, I don't know, because you see with all of these charges that they've been kind of bringing up against Trump, and I talked about this earlier in a live stream where they had this fraud case, right? And that's not going very well for at least the lawyers on the case, because now the appellate judges are talking sanctions, right? Because they're like, I don't even understand why this is a case. And they're even questioning whether or not the case exists because of malicious intent. So, you got a lot of stuff that were like piled up against Trump that are falling apart. And a lot of that stuff was really in the mission of we can't have this guy run for president, right? And Trump has kind of gone a distance, I guess, pissing those folks off, running for president. And now they like, just get him out the game, get him out. That's what it seems like to me. This is weird as hell. This is weird as hell. Like, a third attempt on this man's life, like somebody's trying to kill him. Like, that should be the big news, right? Like, forget about the assassination attempt. We need to just call it what it is. Like, use these exact words. Somebody is trying to kill Donald Trump. All right? There is an organized mission to kill Donald Trump. We know this because not the first attempt was nearly successful. You're talking about if Trump would have moved his face anymore, we wouldn't even be talking about him, right? Second attempt was suspect. I don't really know the circumstances of that, but it seemed like they thwarted. It was similar to this one. Now you got this third attempt. They're thwarting some other person, and this person actually came with VIP badges to this man rally that looks similar enough, but it was deviated enough from the other badges where the officers were able to catch his badges, right? So this is interesting because there seems to be some level of organization, because bro came locked and loaded with fake passes. And when you listen to the Fox reporting, it says that the sheriff noticed these phony passes.
According to police, he was also carrying a loaded shotgun, handgun, and high-capacity magazine.
Hang on, let's go.
Assassination attempt again. Do you want to put up just this reported when an armed man arrested the last-minute rally in the Coachella, about a mile from, so carrying a loaded shotgun and a phony entry pass, according to police. He was also carrying a.
So he had a phony entrance pass, and the only reason why the cops were able, let me see.
According to the sheriff, Bianco, Emma Miller was intercepted by police at a checkpoint about half a mile from the rally entrance. He was carrying phony passes and VIP passes. According to the sheriff, Bianco, in that area, they said, quote, they were different enough to cause the deputies alarm. Miller's belief.
So somebody made phony passes, but my whole thing is, how did they know what the original passes looked like to be able to emulate them, right? And they were at least convincible enough, but not really. So obviously these sheriffs were smart. They knew exactly what to look like to flag these VIP passes as not being legit. So there's definitely a coordinated effort to get Donald Trump out of the picture. That's what it seems like to me. So we're gonna just keep our prayers up for everybody. We will keep our prayers up for everybody. But I've never seen anything like this. Like, to me, 3 assassination attempts, it tells me that, number one, somebody really hates Donald Trump with a passion and is just so afraid for him to be president. But these aren't even, to me, I wonder if these are even isolated or if these just expendable ops, like, like mentally ill people that they are just kind of like go out and do this like in their ear. I don't know. But this is kind of peculiar. And these people are obviously expendable because the first shooter got knocked off really quickly, right? And the other shooters didn't get a chance to even start too much commotion. I think there were shots fired with the second one, but it wasn't. This is crazy. So we're gonna keep our prayers up for Donald Trump. Fox is saying that this came from a right wing person
and his family. And there is expected to be a press conference coming up today. Hopefully we'll hear from Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco and other officials. But this, as we wait to hear from the former president at a rally right now in the Prescott Valley, different speakers ahead of him. Let's listen in to what they have to say here on Live Now from Fox.
So hang on for 1 second. I want to get past a commercial, but I would be afraid to go to a Donald Trump rally now. It's like, I don't know. This like these assassination attempts are like twofold, because it's almost like they're like, is it a way to shake up people from not attending or not wanting to attend so they don't look or appear as big? Oh, this is the Riverside Sheriff briefing on the arrest made. Hang on.
We all good? Everyone ready? Talk about an incident that occurred yesterday at the rally that.
So this happened yesterday on
Trump
Saturday
in Coachella. There has been a lot of media stir beginning last night with social media and further on today about the arrest. And so I am here to give you as much information as I can. I will answer all of the questions that you.
You know what? That explains why Elon Musk was getting some pressure, because he said something to the effect of, it's just kind of strange that nobody is trying to kill Kamala and Biden. And I'm like, why is Elon saying that? But now it makes sense. They tried to.
You have, keep in mind that the information that I'm going to give you may not be all of the information that I have, but because of what we're doing and because of the investigation that will obviously continue concerning this, there are some things that I cannot give you, or that I will not give you, but I will do everything I can to answer your questions. So to begin with, yesterday afternoon, before former President Trump arrived to the rally, we made contact with an individual.
So this is good. They were on point, right? He's saying before Trump even showed up, they was on it. They were on it. So Trump wasn't even in any danger. He wasn't in any danger, according to what the sheriff is saying. They were able to thwart this infiltration of Trump's rally before Trump even got there. So he wasn't in any danger.
On the inner perimeter of
or any immediate danger, I should say,
at the rally. As you can imagine, this was a very large event. In regard to previous attempts on the former president's life, this was not something that we were taking lightly. We had very detailed plan in place on how we were going to keep not only the former president safe, but all of the participants or the attendees of the rally safe. Right. So in general terms, I will tell you that we had a larger outside perimeter and then an inside perimeter that was completely controlled by us, by Riverside County Sheriff's deputies, and both of them served different purposes.
That's awesome. So they definitely took notes from previous failures, and they made sure that their parameters were, a lot longer, both outside and inside. So according to the last report by Fox, they stopped him a half a mile before he was at the site. So, excuse me. So that tells you that, what he's saying is true, because he was stopped a half a mile before he can even get up there.
We did not keep people that were traveling through the area from going through if they had a legitimate reason to go through. So the outside perimeter was basically to allow people in that we thought belonged there. The inside perimeter was to make sure people were proceeding in the right direction. The way it worked yesterday is only people that were allowed inside the perimeter, the outside perimeter, in a vehicle was if you lived there or if you had documentation that said you were going to this rally in the form of an email with VIP credentials or press credentials. Those vehicles were allowed in. There were no other vehicles allowed. So that outside perimeter I will give you his name. The name that we have, and I'm going to put an asterisk by it as I explain this later, but we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birthday is 10/26 of 1974.
1974.
And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough.
So you actually was able to get through one of those barriers with his lie, basically.
Evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in. There were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed that the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had an obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from our deputy into why the person was there and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered, and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens. And assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found in it.
I wonder, so, I mean, was it a matter of he got to the second checkpoint and, I'm trying to get to how did they get to the point of checking this guy's car and all, doing all of this frisking in his car? Because it's like, I mean, I can't believe that, oh, your car is dirty. We got to get all your stuff, it had to have been
in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun. Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case is in the future. Right now,
I'm sorry. What?
The former president arrived.
They released
the person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to.
They released him.
Further his court case is in the future. Right now, we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI to ensure that this person is followed up on and all of the information that they can gather. I can tell you that from my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency.
All right. What's going on in the legal system today, right? So you're telling me that, like, I don't understand it. Like, so they didn't book him, obviously, on attempted assassination. They booked him on a license plate. And, I mean, were the weapons legal? I mean, let me go back to what this man said they're looking at him at.
As one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens, and assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found in addition to a.
So they're saying that he was a part of some group called Sovereign Citizens. I've never heard of that before. I'll have to look into this group. Right. So are they an extremist organization? Is this a right-wing organization?
Obviously, this was before the former president arrived, the person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually.
What charges?
Why the person was there, and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names.
Okay.
Multiple driver's license with different names.
Okay.
The vehicle was unregistered.
Unregistered vehicle.
And the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens, and assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found, in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun. Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person.
All right. So this guy got booked on, obviously fraudulent documents. He did not get booked on, possibly, attempting any type of thing on Trump. He had firearms, but they're not indicating whether or not he was illegally possessing the firearms, right? And obviously, what they charged him and eventually released him on didn't pose him as a danger to the public because he's released. So now I don't know really what to think or what to make of this. I don't really know what to make of this at all, because if there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, they have the guy. How is he running around waiting for whatever they're going to do next? Wouldn't he be considered a clear and present danger to the population? Right? Something's not adding up with this to me. Something is, okay, it says, how do you possess firearms in California if you're driving a car with no license? That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. I don't know. This is interesting, right? Because the person is walking around, right? According to this sheriff, they let him go.
Was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case.
Now, mind you, this just happened yesterday. All right. So this dude wasn't even in jail 24 hours, it seems, before they released him on what is being sold as a third assassination attempt. This sounds absurd to me. I'm sorry. Good night, Samuel from Brazil. Thanks for checking in. This sounds a bit absurd to me. It really does. Yeah, it's like that fraud scam. And I did a live stream about the fraud scam a little bit earlier, but this is very sus to me. How is this dude walking around, but yet this is being sold as an assassination attempt? It seems like it was at least planned or coordinated, because the dude had fake rally passes, right? He had fraudulent documents all in his car. He had firearms. His license, his tags weren't even right. And he's walking around. No wonder why folks are getting killed in this country. This is what we're doing. We're just letting these people out. No evaluation. I mean, I've seen people do psych evaluations longer than that. Like, this is crazy. So this is kind of weird to me. I don't really understand this at all. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. This dude had a bunch of fake passports, fraudulent documents, IDs, fake tags, firearms. And yet in California, they're like, You can go on now. I mean, this happened yesterday. Today is Sunday. It happened yesterday. And this dude is walking out. I mean, this sheriff is saying, oh, we considered all that.
The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges.
He was booked into jail, but for a couple of hours because this thing happened yesterday, y'all. This thing happened yesterday. So,
and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case is in the future. Right now, we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI to ensure that this person is followed up on and all of the information that they can gather.
Why didn't they apprehend him?
From my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency's perspective, the firearms charges is what we arrested him for and booked him on. Anything further will come from the federal government, and quite frankly, I don't know if we will be a part of that. We will certainly be a part of that investigation and cooperating with them.
This whole thing is sus. This whole thing is suspect to me, right? This is suspect to me. This is very, very suspect to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. I am about to wrap this up. You guys, I'm gonna keep everybody in my prayers, but this is crazy to me. It's suspect. But I wanted to do a last note. And I did a video on this probably last week. And I was kind of going through that Kamala ain't black, sort of rabbit hole that Candace Owens was going down. And I said that that was a dead end. It was a dead end for me for two reasons. When I think about Black Americans, right, who is considered Black American, I think about descendants of freemen, not products of immigrants. All right. So it's a full stop for me, when she starts being ambiguous about her race and she starts playing a black card. In my mind, it's a full stop. You're not black because you are products of immigrants. And even if you are immersed in the black culture, there are some people who want to be culturally black. That's cool. I know a lot of white people, right? They've only been around black people, right? So they're culturally black, right? But they still know they're white. You know what I mean? But this rabbit hole that Candace Owens was going down to prove that Kamala Harris wasn't black was kind of a dead end, because even Jamaicans are saying that they're not black, right? They don't associate themselves with being black, right? But I thought it was kind of weird that, Candace would even go down this rabbit hole, because she herself has literally switched from being Caribbean to black when it was convenient for her. So here we go.
There are so many people on this planet who have no idea where they come from. I'm one of them. I can't go back beyond a couple of generations,
But you would placate, and go down this rabbit hole, with Kamala Harris about, her identity, and it ended up being a dead end, right? Because there was a lot of things about Kamala Harris's ancestry that is completely explainable. Even if Kamala Harris isn't Black American, right? It is undeniable that when you look at her father, the man has African descent. And I said this in another live stream. People need to understand that Black people, we can look at other people and we can see Africanness. I can look at a Somalian, I can look at an Ethiopian, I can look at various different Black looking people and kind of tell where they're from. You can tell what Kenyans look like. You can tell what Nigerians look like, and all the kind. And I say this to say, when I look at Kamala Harris's father, I see African descent, right? And so, the question of her Africanness is undeniable, because even when I look at Kamala Harris, I see African descent. And I've said this before. You can look at that woman and tell that she got touched by the womb. She definitely has Africanness in her. Is she Black, like the I would say the lineage definition of a Black American, a Ados Freeman, no. She doesn't share our lineage and our ancestry on that front. That is what makes her not Black. We don't have the same lineage, the same ancestral experience. And I'm talking about from a nationalistic standpoint, right? Because there are many Black Americans who would say we are not Africans, right? We have been removed from Africanness. And even when you look at many Black Americans, we are not homogenous people, you know? And a lot of us have mixed a plethora of races in us. But that is just to say that this was a rabbit hole that I felt like was a dead end. I refused to go down that rabbit hole with Candace, but I'm glad she stopped talking about it because you can prove that Kamala is not Black. That's a full stop. She's a product of immigrants. But I don't want to take that woman's Africanness away from her, right? You can't take the Africanness away from her. She has the African ancestry in her, as well as the Indian part. So that I wanted to just make that point because that was just the stupidest rabbit hole that she had folks going down to prove something very simple. The reason why Black people are pushing back on Kamala Harris's notion of Blackness is because she did not sell herself as being Black. She led with a totally different culture and lineage and divorced the Blackness. That is where the beef is with Kamala Harris. Then when it is convenience for you, then all of a sudden you flip the script. And to me, if I was Eastern Indian, I'd be like, well, what about us? You completely sold yourself as being one of us, and now you're like completely like first Black whatever, right? And so that's where Kamala Harris messed up, really. And I would understand why that would send Candace down a rabbit hole. But a lot of people, like Candace just said, she doesn't even know her own damn ancestry. She probably doesn't even understand Black delineation. So, it's like really like we woke now, this channel is saying just another pot calling the kettle black. Because that's basically what Candace has been. She was kind of the wrong person to facilitate that conversation, in my opinion, because again, she played the Caribbean card. I'm Caribbean, right? But then you switch to Black when it's convenient for you. I'm telling you, these people, they use Blackness as almost like a convenience factor for cred. Like, how is it that we are the most inferior people in this nation, but yet people need to cleave on to us for cred? It's insane to me when it's convenient for them. But anyways, crazy world that we're living in. This is a crazy, crazy world that we're living in. And I don't even know what to make of this so-called third Trump attempt when this dude is walking around. This dude is walking around released. And supposedly he was organizing, orchestrating, possibly planning, suspected of planning an assassination attempt on a former president and now a presidential candidate. You cannot make this crap up. You cannot make this crap up. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't know what to think about this. I don't even know if they're trying to kill Trump or not these days. Because, I mean, look at it. They're letting folks out. They're letting folks out. Why is this guy walking around today and supposedly he is being attached to a possible plan? These sheriff deputies are saying we thwarted a plan to attempt to assassinate Donald Trump. We caught this guy. We charged him for all these false illegal documents, and then we let him go. This is America, y'all. This is America. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Love your neighbors as yourself. If you would not disrespect yourself, do not disrespect your neighbors. But we just going to keep this going until the clown show is over. I am so so excited for this political witching season to be over. This is what all of this is really to me. It's a witching on Americans, a witching on our sensibilities. And it's like they overload us with all of this BS. And it's just getting exhausting to my mind. So I'm just like, can y'all just pick a demon so we can go on figuring out which kind of hell we gonna live in next year? Please. All right. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Crazy as